Good evening and welcome to SAFC Fan TV and another edition. With me tonight, with myself, Philly, we have Jacob Kirkbride. Jacob, down south in London. Have you had a good day, Jacob?
Yeah, decent, mate. Finished work not long ago, but looking forward to tonight, mate. First one in a while.
Work? You have a job?
Of course.
Speaking of sort of grafting, he's a hard grafter. He worked night shift. He's finished late. He woke up literally 3 minutes ago, which is why he looks grumpy. Or is that just his normal face? It's Dino. Have you had a good day, Dino?
Yeah, I was until someone woke us up.
Well, it was your idea. I mean, you said, let's torture our viewers again. Also, the mad mistake. Terry is in the building. Terry, have you had a good day?
Spot on. Finished me stripping last night, all ready for the night's live stream.
Strip for me, strip for and all that, right. Don't forget, of course, we are live, which means you can join us via the live chat if you want to contribute tonight. A few things I want to mention, and we're going to go through the players and give them sort of a rating out of 10 as well, what we thought of them this season, and whether or not we would have given them a contract or not. So already on there, Bradley Young, the casual observer, Lauren Kenny, Tim Wolfenden, Michael Allen, Robert Foster, John Forbes, Acacia Cameron Jude, all on the chat so far. Right, what I want to start with just briefly, I didn't hear it myself, but apparently KLD was on Talk Sport or something and said that Lee Johnson is staying. However, I did also notice an hour ago that Thane, friend of the show, says the rumour is that he's going to be sacked. So what we're believing, is he staying, Jacob, and are you happy about that?
I think he's staying, to be honest, and I back KLD's. Oh, bit of an echo in the background there.
Just carry on.
I'll just carry on there. Oh, it's much better now. Yeah, to be honest, it was always going to be a long-term project when he was appointed last December, and I back KLD's long-term project, to be honest. It's going to take time. There's going to be bumps along the way, but I still think he is the right manager to get us out of this league and take us in the right direction in terms of what Christian Speakman wants to build as well at the same time, because I think a lot of this squad, let's just face it, has not been good enough. And would Lee Johnson have signed a lot of them players if he was manager in the summer? Probably not. And it'll just be interesting to see now of what players he'll want to bring in. But yeah, you know what, I back Lee Johnson. I think there was a lot of anger towards him because we simply failed at the opportunity of getting out of this league once again. But I know, Phil, I'm going to finish in a sec. We're in this league now, but yeah, we have to back him all the way. So I'm still Lee Johnson in, mate.
Okay, good. Michael Bauer's already on the chat. Says super sexy lineup tonight. I see what you did there, Michael. Well done. Terry, PLD apparently on the radio says he stays. I mean, we've all given him a vote of confidence anyway, haven't we? On here on Sunday. You happy with that, or do you think Thane might have something in this rumor that he could be going?
Is that not Thane's video 4 days ago before KLD came out?
I was going to say.
I think that's 4 days ago. I think KLD sort of settled his position on his situation.
When you say KLD came out, do you want to sort of like elaborate on that?
Well, I've never seen his interview. I haven't seen his interview, but I've heard like he's backing Lee Johnson, and at the end of the day, he's going to give Lee Johnson his chance with new players. And yeah, so we're all going to back Lee Johnson, aren't we, simple as?
Right, okay. Nothing.
I'm not falling for that.
Right. Dino, looks like he stays then, and they'll be given the chance in the transfer market. We're happy with that, aren't we?
Can you hear a choo-choo train going past? Because I can.
Yeah.
I thought someone was doing the hoovering.
That's what I thought.
Is it Karen doing the hoovering round you like there, Philly?
You think what Karen doing the hoovering? Don't be stupid. There's more chance.
It's not 1969.
Right.
Hulk Hogan got the Hoover out.
No, he's on the settee. For me, I mean, I'm sick of the days of sacking my jars after a couple of months. I mean, it worked in the Prem to boost the players' confidence, and somehow we'd always do a great escape when we've done it. I'm just sick of it now. He's had 5 months. We're out the playoffs at the time. Yeah, it was a bit streaky, as everyone says, streaky. But let's be fair. These players have done this for the last 3 years, where we're going a bad run and a good run. So it's not just Lee Johnson. It was the players, and I feel like if Lee Johnson gets a chance in the market, I think we'll improve. So I'm glad he's staying, and I hope KLD sticks by his word and supports him in the summer.
Right, okay. Fed, it's just very quickly on the chat, different people saying that he was on TalkSport yesterday and apparently has said that. So, so pretty good news, we think. It is unfair that would have been unfair, I think, if they'd got rid of him. Not his team, really. Though you can argue, you know, a manager should be able to come in and motivate the players there anyway, even if they're not his own. But I think, you know, he should be given that chance. He should be given that chance to bring his own players in and then be judged like that. And if it's not going well after the first few months, you know, sort of up to Christmas or whatever, then and it's looking disastrous, then maybe that's the time to possibly do a change. Right, we've got to give a shout out to Jeff Allcroft, of course. Spannerman is in there as well. Michael Fish is there. Yes, Terry.
All these weeks we've been doing the live stream, I always thought you were calling Jeff Holcroft Spannerman.
Yes, we were. Well, we did call him Spannerman. He's just changed his name to Spannerman.
Oh, so right. Oh, I wondered who Spannerman was.
Right, there you go. Penny's
dropped.
Right, okay. Anything else you need to know, Terry, just let me know. I'll explain it all for you. Right then, the retained list came out. We did do... Jack and Conrad did a video which went onto our channel. If you haven't seen that yet, great video. Just have a watch of that. Before we go into the return list, 124 people already on the live stream. Thanks to you for that. 31 likes. We'd like to try and hit 100 if we can. So just hit the thumbs up, and that should help us out. The retained list. Few eyebrows raised on different ones. Terry, is there any big surprises in there for you? Do you know? You think?
Not really. The retained list is basically those with contracts, isn't it?
Well, but
so does it mean they're going to be staying?
Yeah, the ones under contract are still here, right? And that's it. I mean, so the likes of George Dobson, Will Grigg and stuff like that is still here. People are saying, "Oh, we should just get rid of them," but they're under contract. So getting rid of them means we have to pay the contract up or whatever. So they are still with us. But it's the players that were out of contract, which were Hume, O'Nien, McGeady, White, McFadzean, Maguire, McLaughlin, Ledbetter, Scowen, Power, and Matthews were all out of contract. So new contracts are being offered to Hume, O'Nien, McGeady, and White. And the players being released: McFadzean, Maguire, McLaughlin, Ledbetter, Scowen, Power, and Matthews. So, of the players released, then, do you think we should have kept any of those? We'll start with you, Terry. Is there any you think we should have offered a new contract to?
I think it's a funny one because if Conor McLaughlin was fit all season, I thought he was playing quite good, so I would have kept Conor McLaughlin for another season. But if this injury is going to be dogging him now for a while, then there's no point carrying somebody who's always going to be injured. Now I can understand why Conor McLaughlin's being released. Chris Maguire, again, another player. He hasn't had a great season. He's been hitting, missing most of the season, been on the subs bench for most of the season. He hasn't been fantastic until to be fair, but he can change a game. I would have been open to giving Maguire another season for a year's contract as again, just as backup, just until we got possibly, there's no guarantee we're going to get a full big squad in over the summer. We're going to have to do a lot of hard work to get players in. So by getting rid of a lot of players, we need to do a lot of work. So I think Chris Maguire, for me, another season would have been okay. I wouldn't have been disappointed if he got another season, a 1 year's contract. Out of the rest of them, Ledbetter, like I said, I thought Ledbetter was fantastic this season, probably one of the best players of the season. And will he have another season in his legs? Does he want to retire? Definitely go for his coaching badges, go for a coaching role. And I would love to see the lad back giving Lee Johnson a hand at some point. But the rest of them, for me, just, good luck to the rest of them.
Right, okay. You would imagine, though, the players released, that obviously Lee Johnson's had a say in this. So even though there's a few players out, there's a few to bring in. It would be strange to think that he hasn't, if you got a shopping list and saying, right, we don't need them because I want to bring these ones in.
You didn't have to pay the people the same wages as the one originally. You could have given them a lower wage and given them an opportunity if just to have good squad players as backup just in case. Because we've had a shitload of injuries this season. I mean, how many injuries have we had? That could happen again. You just don't know what's around the corner. So we're going to have to get a lot of players in, to be fair.
Right, okay. I'm going to go to you next, Dino. Before I do, Tony Lee, friend of the show, says, has Jacob had his rollers in?
Nah, just been for a fresh trim at my local Turkish barbers, mate. But no rollers involved.
Turkish barbers, you want to go back and get it finished, mate?
Nah, it's a decent job, man.
Right, okay. Barry Shepherd, bring Defoe back. Oh, please. Right, so Maguire is being released, and Terry, you touched on you would have maybe given him another season, and like I say, we did get the impression that Lee Johnson didn't fancy Maguire. There's been a lot on social media ranting and raving about why have we let him go. A massive fan of Chris Maguire is Dino. So what do you think?
I was actually quite happy with the retain list, to be fair, and the players were let go. I feel like Power, as much as he did improve a little bit this season, I feel like most of the time he's been a passenger. He just doesn't do enough for me. So he's went. I wish him luck. I don't have nothing against the lad, but I feel like we can do better. He's not my kind of midfielder. Ledbetter, as much as I did criticise him at the start of the season, he has been one of the better players, but I don't want to rely on a 34-year-old in the midfield for next season. I feel like we need some fresh legs. I'd love a Scott Fraser in there, someone young, someone who's hungry. Chris Maguire, as much as he's given us 2 good seasons when he first came, I think this season he's just absolutely declined. People say he changed games. He did for a little bit, but he started the last game of the season and done absolutely nothing for me. He done absolutely nothing. If he was fighting for a new contract the last game of the season for me, he didn't deserve one after the last game. The only player, well, Conor McLaughlin, if he was fit, I would have probably kept him because I feel like we haven't even got a recognised right back. They say Luke O'Nine's a right back. He's not. He's a centre midfielder. I want to see him in centre midfield. I don't want to see him at right back. So we technically don't have a recognised right back. The only player I was actually a bit disappointed on because I feel like he gets a lot of criticism. He was the scapegoat this season. Honest to God, people will be a bit shocked. I think Josh Scowen. I actually thought letting Josh Scowen go was a big mistake. As much as people don't like him, I think he's not a creative midfielder. For me, he's a holding midfielder. He gets stuck in, he wins challenges. Yeah, his passing is a little bit wayward, but wasn't Max Powers at times. I feel like Josh Scowen offered a lot more than Max Power. And I just feel like he broke up play very well. I just feel like he was used in the wrong way. I really do.
Is that enough, though, Dino?
What's that, sorry?
Is that enough, what you described with Josh Scowen there? I think we need more in the middle of the park. But that's just me then.
Well, And Terry's one in. Terry?
Well, the question I want to ask Dean is, was it because Philly took ages to wake you up tonight, this afternoon? Were you dreaming about Josh Scowen? Was it a nightmare because you were losing him? Or were you dreaming about him when he was playing football and being so fantastic on the pitch?
I honestly believe he was the biggest scapegoat going. He's like Lee Birch, the biggest scapegoat this season. It was like the Honeyman, the first season. I didn't think he was as bad as people made out. I really didn't.
But if you think Power's not good enough, surely Scowen's not much better, to be fair, is he?
Scowen's better than Power, 100%. Scowen's played at a higher level than Power. Well, actually, they've played at the same level, but Power didn't really last 2 seconds in the Championship because he came straight to us from Wigan when Wigan got promoted. Scowen's played for QPR, who was in the Championship. I don't remember them being in League One. I just feel like Scowen offered a lot more what people made out. I feel like he was a scapegoat. I think he done the job of tackling players really, really well. Yeah, he's shooting and his passing was a lot to be desired, but I think his passing was a lot better than people made out, because even on the One Football app, his passing was over 80%. So it couldn't have been that bad.
Give it a
do you know what, Dean? I kind of feel sorry for Scowen because he was the only person that could see the Invisible Man.
Hey.
And he still couldn't pass to him. Still couldn't find a pass.
Well, like you see, that's your opinion. I like Scowen. I didn't think he was bad as everyone made out. And people even say the last couple of games of the season, he was one of our better midfielders. So if you use him in the right way, he can be a good player. But the fact is that all of our three midfielders kind of played the same, all defensive. So it made him look a lot worse than what he was. If you have two creative midfielders in front of him and you let him sit, I feel like he would do a really, really good job.
So that's kind of Lee Johnson's fault, isn't it, really? Because we should have had three in midfield.
No, it's our fault for not recruiting right, for having the likes of Ledbetter, Power and Winchester. They're all similar players. Not one of them can take the ball forward and run through. So
can you get me a job? Can you get me a job with you recruiting them? Can you?
Nah, sorry, mate. No.
It's
just my opinion. I like Scowen. He was the only one I would have probably kept. And McLaughlin.
All right. Before I chuck it to Jacob, then quickly on the chat, Lauren Kenny says, "I agree, Dino." But then Bradley Young says, "Dino, have you been drinking?" Again, it's just a matter of opinions. Chris Law says, "Terry loves Scowen." Ryan C. Scowen is not worth $8,000 a week. I'd be surprised. Was that what it was on? I mean, I don't know. I'd be
if it's down to money, then fair enough. I mean, you could probably get a lot more for $8,000. That's totally fair. But in my opinion, I like Scowen. I didn't think he was bad as he was. And like Maguire, people like Maguire this season. I feel like Maguire didn't offer half as much as he did the first two seasons.
Well, that Ryan C also says Ledbetter's wages was too high. Yeah. That was the reason why he went, to be fair, because he's reckoned that Lee Johnson would have kept him.
He wouldn't have stayed on one more season.
This is all about negotiation. You know, they could have, if he really wanted him, you know, could have sat down and discussed contracts. You know, I mean, have these players does he just not fancy on their way? It's all right, Ryan C saying, you know, his wages are too much. Who knows? You know, it's go on, Terry.
I mean, I was very surprised Lee Johnson let Scowen go. So was it down to wages if that's the case? Because I thought, to be fair, it was one of his favourites.
Yeah, but do you not think?
He's played the QPR before, wasn't it?
Do you not think under KLD is, you know, under the old regime of Stuart Donald and Charlie Methven, it was all down to money. With KLD, I'd like to think it's down to having the best players. Forget the money. You know, it's the job to be done, and that's to get us promoted and promoted again. And it's a case to speculate, to accumulate. Let's spend now, you know, and then reap the rewards as we get higher up. Go on, Sarah. So
this retained list, do you think Lee Johnson had the final say, or was it Christian Speakman and KLD?
Altogether.
Yeah. A group, 2 out of 3. 2 of them didn't like Scowen, 1 of them did, and that's how do you think it worked?
To be honest, I think for me, I think it would be Lee Johnson and Speakman would be the ones who sat down and decided. They'll deal with that, and then KLD will do the finances, and I think they'll say we want him, we don't want him, we want to buy him, we want to let this one go, and then the final say would be with KLD for the finances. Is how I would say it. Let me chuck it to Jacob. Bring Jacob in. Of those players released, then McFadzean, Maguire, McLaughlin, Ledbetter, Scowen, Power, and Matthews. Any surprise in there for you? Any you would have kept?
With the likes of McFadzean, Ledbetter, Scowen, I think that's the right decision. I mean, McFadzean, for me, he was a left back that belonged in the division below, to be honest. I mean, he was at fault for a lot of the goals we conceded down the left-hand side this season. Ledbetter and Scowen, for me, I can understand what Dino's saying. They added a bit of graft in the midfield. They like to play with high press at times. They got stuck in. But I feel Sunderland Football Club, particularly since we dropped into this league, have signed too many players like that. And it comes down to the big question. They have got a lot of experience in the middle of the park and do a lot of the dirty work and hard graft. But have they got enough quality? And the answer is no. We need to have more quality and talent in the middle of the park if we're going to move forward as a team and go up a level next season. Chris Maguire, I think it's a case of the manager not fancying him. I mean, I heard a rumour of Maguire, he would have only stayed on one more year if Johnson was to go. And to be honest, I'm disappointed. I think we could have done with Maguire's services for at least one more year. I think he can change the game. But even though in that Lincoln second leg he was poor, I mean, if only Wyke decided to square the ball to him for that chance he had. But yeah, we never really saw enough of him this season, even though he has got the capability to change the game. Like Dino said numerous times, we never saw him enough, and he spent most of the season on the bench, other than that brilliant goal he scored down at Crewe. Matthews, right decision. Butterfingers in goal as far as I'm concerned. In terms of play, also, we should note players who, I know you're going to come on to this in a moment, Philly, players who have been offered contracts, the likes of Charlie Wyke. It all depends on whether his heart's in it. Middlesbrough's knocking on the door, higher wages in the Championship. Ipswich Town have been linked with him today in the press. So it'd be interesting to see how that develops. But in terms of the retain list, I think it's the right decision, to be honest. And now it's a waiting game of what players we're going to bring in for the start of next season. And to be honest, I'm expecting to see developments on that front in the next 2 or 3 weeks, to be honest, because we do need a lot of key positions filled in the coming weeks preparing for pre-season.
Right, just very quickly on the chat, Nigel John says, but money will only be spent if money comes in. I'll ask any one of you if you know, does the salary cap come into effect next season? Or is that just scrapped altogether now?
There's talk of it. It was being touched on Talk Sport the other day with Simon Jordan and Trevor Sinclair. I think they're trying to negotiate some sort of cap in place, but whether it will be as brutal as the one we saw last year, I'm not so sure. But there will be some sort of rules and regulations in place of what spendage you're allowed to have if you're a club in League One this summer.
Right, not good news then. Right, very quickly, Tony Lee, friend of the show, says, huge fan of Lee Johnson. Sorry, not a huge fan of Lee Johnson, but prepared to give him a chance. It'll be interesting to see who he brings in. I think that's across the board, I would imagine. He's been given that chance now. I think everybody should get behind him, whether you fancied him or didn't, and then we'll judge him when he brings his own players in. Right. What I did want to we want to go straight on to it now, because it was Dino's idea. We wasn't going to do a Thursday night show this week, and Dino said what we should really do is we should go through the squad this season and rate them out of 10, and then see whether we would have given them a contract or not. Not the club giving them a contract, whatever. So we are going to do that. So what I'll do is I'll take we'll go through the list on what we've got on the players who were under contract and been released. We're going to start anyway. I'm just going to pass it around. What I need is a quick sort of like, what score you'd give him out of 10, and if you'd have given him a new contract or not. And I would like to start with Dino's favourite player in the whole of League One. We'll start with Lee Burge. And we'll go to Dino, because Dino, he was your man. So out of 10 for this season, Lee Burge, you've championed him, said he's the best keeper in League One. I expect a high score from you. Over to you.
Are you going off that little list on the left side here, like Philly? Is that what you're looking at for the players?
No, I'm going off the... I printed the list off the...
oh, God.
Pro.
He's done his own work.
I'll go off my list. All right.
It's a waste of paper, man.
Lee Burge, I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. He made some costly mistakes, but he saved a couple of penalties. He made some great saves to keep winning.
Dino, did you say 6 then?
7.
God, best
7 out of 10. It would have been higher if it wasn't for some of the mistakes he made. I mean, he kept winning the trophy final, the AFL trophy final, with some good saves. He saved some penalties. And statistically, this is the best season Sunderland's had in League One. We finished 4th. We didn't do that with John McLaughlin in goal. So I'm going to give him a 7. I didn't think he was half as bad as people made out, so I'm going to give him a 7.
And you would have given him a contract, naturally.
Yeah, definitely. I still think he's good enough. People say number 2. I still think he's good enough to be number 1. I do.
Right, okay. Just quickly on the chat coming through. Lauren Kenny, 7 out of 10. Bradley Young, 8. Ryan C, 7. Stuart Shaw, 6. 7, Nigel Dunn. Regan Robinson, 8. So sort of around that. Chris Scott saying 5. So there you go. Terry, Lee Burge, what would you give him out of 10, and would you give him a contract?
I can only remember probably 3 mistakes he made, to be fair. If the lad was a bit more authoritative in the box, if the lad had more confidence, if he had a bit more confidence, a bit more, he holds himself sometimes. He just lacks a bit of confidence on me. He needs to believe in his own talent, because he isn't a bad keeper. Yes, he makes 1 or 2 mistakes, but he can learn it and sort of get better with that. I give him man of the match at least 7 occasions throughout the whole of the season. And that was like probably 7 games on the trot. So I don't see anybody else I'd have given more man of the match awards to. So, I mean, I'm going to have to give Lee Burge, to be honest. I mean, for an average squad with for me, a disappointing season, I'll give him 8 out of 10. I'll give him 8 out of 10. I don't think he's done that. I don't think he's been a bad... Apart from the first game of the season and the odd mistake towards the end, he had a really good, solid sort of 2/3 of the season for me.
Right, fair dues. 8 out of 10. That's not bad. Still got scores coming in on the chat if you want to join in. 196 people watching already. 65 likes. We'd like to hit 100. So if you just hit the thumbs up quickly, that would be appreciated. If you're watching on a mobile device and you have the live chat open, just close the live chat. You'll see the thumbs up, hit that. And as we always say, if you're watching and you haven't subscribed yet, it is free to subscribe. Just hit the subscribe button and that will help the channel out immensely. Jacob, Lee Burge, marks out of 10.
7 out of 10 for me, Philly. I think being a steady keeper for us this season, I'd say, even though he had a few mistakes in his locker. I mean, the opening day against Bristol Rovers, that penalty we conceded in the playoffs against Lincoln, kicking it off the geezer's arm. People would say it's arm, but it was given as a goal. But yeah, that cost us in the end. But he did make up for it with the penalty save in the second leg. The Gillingham home game took about 10 years to dive down to save 1 shot, and took years coming off his line for the equalising goal. But he has saved a few penalties for us this season. But he is a steady goalkeeper at the end of the day. He has been solid for us on a few occasions. And to be honest, I would offer him a new deal, but I think we should offer him a new deal as long as he's number 2 for next season. I think we do need a more quality number 1 in between the sticks. But I have no objections to Lee Burge staying for 1 more year.
Right, thanks, Jacob. We want to give a shout out to Manuel de la Torre, who's donated $300 Mexican on the super chat. Can I have a round of applause got Manuel Delatore. Thank you very much. And I know you're all thinking, oh, 300 Mexican dollars. If you want to know, it's about £10 in English.
I bet you were thinking for a minute there.
A massive big thank you to you for that. We'll quickly remind you, of course, the super chat is available to you if you want to donate. It is purely optional, but any money what comes in will help the channel. It goes to help the channel grow, expand what we're doing, make better content for you, and it really is much appreciated. If you want to do that, there is a $sign at the bottom of the live chat. You just select the amount you'd like to donate and hit it. And like we say, we're very grateful to anyone who helps the channel like that. So 7 out of 10, Jacob. I'm going to basically go along with what Terry said. 8 out of 10. I don't think he's been that bad. I think the stick he's got has been unwarranted. Certainly for League One, I think he's a very good keeper. For League One, I think he's more than all right. And to be honest, in this league, I wouldn't have a problem with him being our number one keeper next season. And I know it's divided opinion and what have you, but that's how I see Lee Burge. Right. Try and speed this up because we've got a lot of players to get through. So we'll go with Remy Matthews then. We're doing the goalies. Jacob, do you want to go first on that?
Remy Matthews, 2. 2 out of 10. Yep. Disastrous signing. I mean, that game against Burton Albion at home springs to mind, where a shot was literally parried against him and one of their forward players put it into the corner. But there was other ones as well. He was just a liability in net, to be honest. Every time that a cross came into the box, he thought he was going to fumble it. He just wasn't really strong enough with his hands catching the ball. And yeah, it was awful signing. A typical Phil Parkinson sign, I would say. Not good enough for this club. We can do better than that. We've had quality keepers over the years, and that wasn't one of them. So yeah, happy to see him go.
Right, fair enough. 2, very harsh. Terry, Remy Matthews.
I do wish the lad all the best in the future.
Yeah, I do as well.
You know, I do, but I think it was a complete waste of time being on the bench. If we had anybody else who could have gone under the 23s, we could have had Patterson on the bench. So for me,
hey,
he gets a duck egg. He gets a duck egg because it was the worst signing in the history, probably, of Sunderland Association Football Club.
Right, a big fat 0. Spannerman says 1. Lauren Kenny says 1. There's a couple of zeros on there. Rough as a badger's Craig S. All say 9 out of 10 as well. It's harsh. Dino?
1 out of 10, because I remember him playing one good game and that was it. So I'm going to give him 1 out of 10. I don't even think he played 10 games this season, so it should be 1 out of 7, really. I don't even think he played 10 games. He was awful.
Right, okay. I think myself, I can't bring myself to give him none. Like Terry, I mean, Terry, you're a hard man. You know what I mean?
I'm brutal. I can be brutal at times. It's the way it goes.
Absolutely. I mean, a 0 is the sort of score that Karen gives me. But I'm going for a 1. Yes, Terry.
I've given something to work on for next season in his new club.
Yeah. All right. Fair dues. Right then. Well, let's do Conor McLaughlin then. Dino, do you want to start us off with that?
Conor McLaughlin, I'm going to give him a 6. I think he was good. Injuries have hindered him. He was a lot better than his first season. I'm going to give him a 6.
Right, fair dues. Jacob?
Conor McLaughlin, to be honest, I'll give him a 7, to be honest. I thought he improved massively from last season. I think there were games this season where we played him as a centre-half because I think the managers, Parky and Lee Johnson, thought that he didn't have the pace playing at right back, and I think the decision worked. I think he was solid for us at times, added experience to the back line, and to be honest, I would have been open for keeping him at least 1 more year. I think because we've got a lot of defensive injuries at the moment. Obviously, Dion Sanderson's gone back to Wolves as well. So, yeah, I would have been happy to keep him. Disappointed to see him go, but then again, I think we can bring in more defenders with a little bit more pace at the back, and I think he lacked in that department. So 7 out of 10. Disappointed to see him go, but yeah, I still think he's been an improved player for us this season.
Right, okay. Right, thanks for that. Just very quickly, as Stuart Shaw says on Matthews, as in the Eurovision Song Contest, Neil Platt, he says. Right, so 7. Sorry, Conor McLaughlin.
For the games he's played, I give him a 6.5 out of 10. I think they would have kept him if he didn't have the injury. I think the injury, that's the reason why he's being let go. They don't want to have he must have a canny bad injury, to be fair, to get injured over and over again. And they keep getting injections. So, yeah, it's probably a good decision to let him go in the long run.
All right. Sorry, what did you say? Sorry, I missed that.
It's probably a good decision to let him go in the long run. 6.5 out of 10.
No. What did you give him out of 10?
6.5.
6.5. Right, half points there. Right, I'm going to give him a solid 7. I thought he had some good games for us, and I think out of all the people that's been released, I think he's probably one I would have I'd have took a chance on. Right, let's keep it going, keep it flowing, because we've got to get them all in. Tom Flanagan, Jacob, out of 10.
Tom Flanagan, I would say 6, to be honest. Never really saw enough of him this season. I think injuries let him down. I think potentially if he'd stayed fit, he might have made a difference towards the back end of the season. But yeah, he's just been unfortunate for him this season. People have said that he's a bit of a liability at times if we're trying to play the ball out from the back. People pointed the finger at him for that goal that we conceded at Lincoln in the first leg, but I think that was pretty harsh, to be honest. I think it was a collection of the blame from Burge and Flanagan. But yeah, Flanagan, to be honest, I think we can attract better centre halves, to be honest. I think we've had 3 years of him now. I think injuries have been the cause of his letdown, and you just wonder with his injury record, will it be the same next season?
Can I jump in, Jacob?
Yeah,
right,
6 out of 10.
Loads of players to do. So, give me a rating and then we'll move on. Thank you very much. Just very quickly, Spannerman Jeff says, Dino, wake up. Dino, do you want to explain to Jeff why you're tired?
Could I have done like a 11-hour shift from work, so I didn't get in till 1 o'clock this afternoon. I'd done a night shift at 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning, and then I didn't get, it was 12 hours. I didn't get in till 1 o'clock in the afternoon, so I'm a bit tired.
And we've just woken up, to be fair. So fair play to Dino for actually coming on. Right, you can go back to sleep now, Dino. Terry, Tom Flanagan.
I've had a bit of friendly fun with him over the last 3 seasons. Yeah. He's either flappy or fantastic, so he can't be both. So he's in the middle, 5 out of 10.
Right, fair dues. Cheers. Dino, flappy or fantastic?
Flappy. I'm going to give him a 4. I feel like he's been here 3 seasons and it's been 3 seasons of failure, and I feel like we could do without him, so I'm going to give him a 4. He hasn't been that good. I wouldn't mind him sold, to be fair. It's a 4 for me.
Yes, definitely sell him. Definitely sell him.
Right. Fair dues. I'm gonna go down the middle. There's been some times, he's been quite good, but there's a lot of times that he has been flabby. So 5 out of 10 for me. Right, let's move it round to Jordan Willis. What do we think for Jordan Willis? Dino, do you want to go first on that?
It's a hard one because he didn't play that much. I'm going to just give him an average 5. He was good when he played, but he's missed most of the season with injury, so I'm going to give him a 5.
Right, fair dues. Jacob, Jordan Willis?
5 as well. I think started well, I would say, when we had Parkinson at the start of the season, but injuries let him down, and I think he was at fault for a few goals in the second half of the season, but wish him all the best with that horrible injury picked up at Shrewsbury. Hope he come back stronger next season, so 5 out of 10.
Right, okay. Terry?
Worst season so far under with a Sunderland shirt, and it's probably all down to being injured for the whole entire season. He was playing with an injury, and he's finished with the injury. I do wish the lad, I hope he gets fit soon. I hope he, it's going to be really difficult for the lad to get back after those injuries, but I do wish him all the best. I'd say a 4.
4, right. Again, it's a difficult one to call because of the injury and that. So I'll keep it down the middle, and 5 for me as well. We'll go with that. Bailey Wright then. Jacob, do you want to kick us off with that?
Bailey Wright, I'll say a 7, to be fair. I think beginning of the season, once again, like Jordan Willis, pretty solid for us. People were saying he was the best centre-half in this league, and we were lucky to have him. But as the season went on, I think it was injuries played a part. And towards the end of the season, when he was thrown in at the deep end after Sanderson's injury, he was a little bit shaky. But I think when he gets a full pre-season under his belt, he'll be back to what he was at the beginning of last season. So 7 out of 10, solid, but it could have been better.
Right, just very quickly while you're on there, Jacob, Conrad Lee, our friend and of course a member of the channel, Jacob says Willis had some bad performances in the second half of the season. Did he actually play a game after December?
In January, he had a few, and then
right,
yeah.
That's all right.
He got injured in February.
Terry, Bailey Wright.
Bailey Wright. He can't pass long balls. He should stop trying to pass these long balls, these hooper footballs. Doesn't be head in. He's good in the back three. He's not as good in the back two. I think he's had a very disappointing season. Personally, I'd give him 5 out of 10.
Right, okay. But more if he's in a back three. Right, okay. Dino, Bailey Wright.
Disappointing. He's been hindered by injuries. I'm going to give him a 5 because I feel like he's better than Flanagan. If I give him the same as Flanagan, I feel like it'd be disappointing. Average season for me, I expect better, but injuries have played him, so 5 out of 10.
Right, fair enough. I'm going to go 5 again, though. When you mentioned, I give Tom Flanagan 5. It just it doesn't sort of seem right. But again, you know, I'll split down the middle. I mean, he's been in and out of the team anyway, and he's so right. Moving on, Luke 09. Dino, do you want to kick us off with Luke 09?
I'm going to give a 6. It would have been higher, but back into the season he wasn't as good as we know him. But he's been playing out of position. Yeah. 6 for me. I hope to see him in centre midfield next season.
Right. Okay. Terry.
Again, I would give him a contract. He hasn't had a fair crack of the whip, been out of position the whole of the season, even last season. He deserves the position he's brought in to be, which was centre midfield. That's where he should be. He's been one of the shining lights throughout the whole of the season. He's tapered up towards the end when we lost Sanderson. So I'll give him 7 out of 10.
7 for you. Jacob, Lugo 9.
7 as well. Been a solid player a lot of this season, even when considering the fact that he's been playing out of position. We all love to see him back in the middle of the park. He was playing at right back, even centre half at one stage alongside Dion Sanderson. That partnership worked out very well. But towards the end of the season, I think at times he was caught out of position for a few goals and he was picking up stupid yellow cards as well. He gets caught in the heat of the moment a little bit too much, 09, but still a fantastic loyal servant to this club. And I'll 100% back him getting a new contract any day. 7 out of 10, but we do like to see him in the middle of the park next season.
Right, fair dues. For me, definitely a solid 8 and even bordering on a 9. I think the fact that he's been moved around in different positions, he's performed every time. And, you can, all right, towards the end of the season, he's been everywhere and done all right. So I'm going to give him a solid 8. But I was tempted to even go for a 9. Right. What about Dion Sanderson? I know he's gone back to Wolves now, but Dion Sanderson. Terry, do you want to start us with that?
Well, for the few limited games he's played this season, he's going at the position really well. So I'm not going to go in the full season. I'm going to go into the games where he was playing at centre back. And I think at centre-back, I thought he was 8 out of 10. I think he got the speed. He carried the other centre-back, Logo 9, every now and again. He helped him out with his speed. And we suffered big time the last few games when he got injured and Bailey Wright took his place. I think otherwise we could have been a lot closer to the top 2.
So, sorry, Terry, I missed the number you gave him. What do you give him?
I'm going to give him 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10, right.
For the games he started.
Dino.
9 out of 10. One of the players of the season for me until he got injured. He was class and we missed him loads when he was injured. So 9 out of 10 for me.
Jacob?
9 out of 10. Fantastic player. Got a bright future ahead of him. Shame injuries came to the fold late on in the season where we needed him most. But I still wish him all the best. I think he has got a lot to prove at football at a higher level, and shame we couldn't have kept him, but is what it is. So 9 out of 10, brilliant player, and he will go far.
Right, I'm going to give him an 8. I thought, it took him a little time to get settled in, but then once he got in, it was brilliant. But definitely a solid 8 for me for Deon Sanderson. Right, what about Callum McFadzean?
God.
Whoa! Don't all jump in together. Sorry, do you want to start us off with McFadzean then?
Be nice.
3 out of 10.
3 out of 10. I'm shocked at you, Terry. Jacob McFadzean.
2 out of 10, mate. You could tell it was going to be a disastrous signing after the first interview the club done with him after that Mansfield defeat in the cup, where he just went, it's just another cup game, isn't it? Stinking attitude, and the football on the pitch he produced wasn't any better either. I know he may have had 1 or 2 decent games when he got settled into the left back role with Hume being out, but was at fault for a lot of the mistakes on the left hand side, and a lot of pacey players got the better of him. So 2 out of 10. We needed Hume fit a lot more. Right,
okay. McFadzean, Dino?
3 out of 10. He had a couple of good games, scored 2-3 goals. But he was brought in for cover, and he ended up being first choice because of Hume's injury. So I'm going to give him 3 out of 10. He was still awful, but it's not his fault. He's that awful, so 3 out of 10.
Terry,
I want to say the same thing. It's not his fault. He's a League 2 player that we brought him into League 1. I think he did his best. He's just not good enough.
There's a few people on the chat giving minus scores and stuff like that. John Forbes says -10. Thanks to you for that. A 2 for me. I think you summed it up there, Terry. League 2 player in League 1, really. Right. What about Jake Volkins? When he came in, he only had a couple of games, but pass this round quickly, Dino.
3 again. He was very ineffective. I think he had 1 good game. He only played about 4 games, and then he got corona. He was injured, so I'm going to give him a 3. He wasn't too good, and I hope him well in the future. But 3 for me. Didn't do anything.
2. I think I'll give him a 2. The games I saw him, he wasn't that good, but he's only a young lad, and he'll probably get better. And again, he had illness, so I do wish the lad all the best in the future. Hope he's fitting well soon.
Right, good. Jacob?
I'm going to give him a 4, I still think he had a lot more to prove. And I feel even when he was fit, he wasn't given enough chances. I think if we played him more, he would have got better. I think because he's still not the finished article. He's a young player from the Premier League. And I think he would have been better than McFadzean. But I think Lee Johnson went for the more experienced option at left back. But I think that was the wrong decision. But yeah, it was injuries let him down. And also he had COVID as well. So feel sorry for the geezer. But is what it is. 4 out of 10. But wish him all the best for the future. He's still a young lad.
Right, okay. 3 for me. We'll leave it at that. I am trying to whip through these now. Quill, we've still got a few to go. Denver Hume. Then Dino.
Played by injury. 4 out of 10. The best of him is still to come. I just feel like he didn't get up to speed with his injuries. So 4 out of 10.
Right, fair enough. Terry.
Yeah, 5 out of 10 for the games he's been playing. Like I said, probably first half of the season 6, towards the end 5. So yeah, 5.
Jacob.
5 out of 10. Improved a bit on his crossing ability compared to the previous season, but yeah, he got that really bad injury and that disrupted his progress. But hopefully he'll come back stronger next season, and he has been offered a new deal as well, which is good. But 5 out of 10 for the season.
5 for me as well. I think injuries played its part, but I think he could develop into a decent player. I think give him the chance. Max Power being released. Dino.
4 out of 10. He was as a captain. He's good vocally, but on the ball, he's awful. Everything sideways and backwards. I can't remember really making him a forward pass. He was quite bad, and I haven't rated him for the 3 seasons he's been here. So 4 out of 10 for me.
Right, Terry.
The best time I saw him, best time I saw Power play was the holding midfielder in a 3. They had a really good game, but overall in the season, disappointing. So yeah, time to get rid. New players in. 3 seasons too much. 3 out of 10. 4. Give it a 4. 4. Yeah, 4.
4 for Terry. Jacob?
You know what? I'm going to be better here with Pat. I'm going to give him a 6. I think he started this in the middle of the park. People are saying he wasn't adding a lot to the midfield, but when we did have injuries at the back, he went to right back, and I thought he had a decent spell. He was getting balls into the box to Charlie Wyke. He was being solid on his defensive duties, and he had a decent run we went on at the turn of the year. I thought he played a decent part in that solid back four we played that was keeping clean sheets. So he had decent spells, but yeah, just didn't add enough when he was moved back to the centre of midfield, and that's the problem we've had. Just not enough spark in the middle of the park, and yeah, to see him go, it's sad because he has been a passionate leader at times, but yeah, it's time to go.
Sorry, Jacob, try and just keep it brief. I know we've got to get them all through. I'm just...
how many have we got left?
I sort of agree. Another, I don't know, 8, 10, maybe. So I tend to agree about a 6, to be honest, because right back, I do think he had a decent goal. Chris Maguire, again, another one being let go. Dino?
3. He scored some worldies, but other than that, very ineffective most of the season, and he was always on the bench. He didn't do enough for me. 3, poor season.
Terry?
Yeah, 4 for me. Again, you haven't seen enough of him.
Jacob?
4. Didn't do enough on the park at the beginning of the season and was on the bench for the majority of the second half, but big him up for that equalising goal he scored at Crewe. 4 out of 10. Wish him all the best, though. Great servant to the club.
Yeah, I've got to say 4 again. That player could have come on and just changed the game, but it just didn't happen for him this season. Lyndon Gooch, again, he's under contract anyway, so he's staying with us. Dino?
4 out of 10. He's just an average player, and he's got pace but no brains. Scores some goals now and again, gets the odd assist, but I'd like to see him replaced with 4 out of 10.
Terry's laughing at someone.
I'm going to give him a 6 for winning it, for getting that goal in the Papa John's trophy. There you go.
Wembley. Jacob?
5. Other than that goal he scored in the final, I still don't think he adds enough on the left-hand side, overdoes it at times, and I think we can get more quality in that position. He has been a loyal servant, but yeah, for me, I think we've given him enough chances now.
5 for me as well. He still has that thing in him where he's got to do one man too many. He doesn't know when to sort of give up. Then what about Josh Scowen? Then again, another player has been released. Dino?
6 out of 10. I thought he was all right. He did the dirty work really well. He always gives 100%. Yeah, he's shooting, and that was a lot of big desire, but I didn't think he was bad as he was, so I'm going to give him a 6.
Fair enough. Terry?
You have to ask me that question. God's sake.
9? Solid 9.
Probably the same as Power 4.
A 4. You're not a fan then?
We haven't got time. Seriously, we haven't got time.
Jacob, Josh Scowen.
I could say a lot about Scowen, but since Terry said we haven't got enough time, 4.
4, fair dues. I'm going to go with a 4 as well. I think on that, least said the better. Jack Diamond, one of the youngsters, good on every now and again. Dino?
4. He had a good start to the season, got a couple of goals, couple of assists. He's starting to look like another Gooch, just all pace and no brain, so I'm going to give him a 4.
Terry?
I think it's been a bit disappointing this season, to be fair. I expected more, but I'm hoping another season under his belt, he will improve next season, so I'm going to go for 4 again.
Jacob?
You know what, I'm going to say a 7. He's not the finished article, and people say he's this and that overhyped. I still think he would have been offered a long-term deal with Lee Johnson. Didn't think that was the case. So, yeah, I still back him up all the way. We've not seen the full quality of Jack Diamond yet. So yeah, I'd in the games that I've been impressed with him, to be honest. So 7.
Yeah, I think he's got potential. I think we're sort of going on this season, though, really. I think 4's a little bit too low, but we'll give him a 5 anyway. And definitely potential there. Grant Ledbetter, again, another one of the players who's been released. Dino, good stuff.
8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. I gave him a lot of criticism last season. This season, he's been one of our better midfielders, and he's 34, 35 years of age. I thought he's had a cracking season. One of our better players this season, so 8 out of 10.
Terry?
Oh, I'll tell you what, I'm going to give him my player of the season, 8.5 out of 10.
8.5 player of the season. Right, fair enough. Jacob?
8 as well, considering the fact he's at the age he's at, he's been asked to play a lot of games this season, and that's because we simply couldn't bring in a decent, more quality midfielder in the middle of the park. But being a loyal servant, he will be missed. Hopefully he can be back in terms of a coaching role next season. So 8 out of 10. Brilliant performances this season for Grant Ledbetter.
Fair enough. I'll say definitely a solid 8 out of 10. I was one of the people who sort of wrote him off at the start of the season. So, too old and what have you.
Well, yeah.
Come in, done a superb job. Solid 8. Stuart Shaw in the chat quickly says, do you all remember when Terry was in love with power? Can't remember. Dan Neal.
I just like arguing with you. You're the ones on the channel, that was all.
Right, Dan Neal, another one still under contract. Terry, big fan of Dan Neal. Do you want to go first on that one?
I haven't even seen him play in the league match. Have you?
Yeah, I think it's a bit unfair to give him a rating because we haven't seen him. I think it's a bit unfair.
Apart from the early rounds of the EFL.
I'll give him next year's rating. 9 out of 10. Player of the season next year. There you go.
Get a poster on Terry's wall.
Right, Carl Winchester then. Dino.
5. I still don't know what kind of player he is. He's had a couple of good performances, but I haven't seen enough of him. I just don't. Just 5, average.
Right, Terry.
He hasn't been given a sort of fair crack at the whip because Scowen's always been in front of him. So, for what I've seen, potential's there, but he is better than Scowen, so 5.
Right, Jacob Winchester.
7. Yeah, I've been impressed with him at times, to be honest. I think he adds a bit of flair in the middle of the park. I mean, I know at times people criticise him for passing it sideways and back, but I think there's a confidence issue in there. Not the finished article. You will be better next season. I still have faith. Carl Winchester, 7.
Right, fair enough. I'll go with a 5. I'm not convinced yet. I mean, all this Winnie Esther and all that. I thought he was going to
not quite there yet. Not quite.
Yeah,
there.
well, I thought he was going to, set this league on fire, but that's not happened. Jordan Jones, gone back to Rangers, but scores for him. Dino.
6. He got off to a great start, scoring some good goals. He was very direct, and then he just tailed off towards the end of the season. So I'm going to give him a 6.
Terry.
I think Jordan Jones could be a much better player in a stronger midfield, so I give him a 6.
Right,
6 again. Jacob.
Full house, Philly, 6 as well. Started well, but then performances dropped after that. But fantastic goal he scored at Pompey of that little dink over the keeper. That was his best moment.
Yeah, I'd probably go with 6 myself. A couple of cracking games he had, and that, but he was a bit up and down, I think. Right, Aidan McGeady runs down the wing for Dino. What do you want to give Aidan McGeady then? The contract.
For me, 10 out of 10. Popped up with loads of assists. He made Charlie White a much better player when he was in the team. Probably player of the season for me. He was quality. 10 out of 10.
Yeah, Terry.
Yeah, I give him 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. Done a really good play. Good. Hold on, I'm give him a contract all day next season, definitely.
Right, Jacob.
9 out of 10. Fantastic this season. But a lot of assists he chipped in with, and considering the age he's at, he's been fantastic, and hopefully he can stay next season. I think there was certain games where he would go missing in for long periods, which doesn't quite make the 10. But yes, 9 still a solid rating.
Right, fair enough. Me, 10 out of 10. You've got to, considering he only came in at Christmas or whatever it was, and did the job he did. Definitely 10 out of 10. Want to say a massive thank you to Michael Fish, who's donated £5 via the super chat. We'll have a round of applause for Michael Fish. And he did also tell us, Michael Fish tells us that the weather over the bank holiday weekend is going to be tremendous. No hurricanes. So there you go.
Beer gardens galore.
Charlie White, the surprise package of the season. Dino.
Yeah, you've got to give him a high one. Even though he's all-round play, I feel like it's terrible. The goals he scored, I'm going to give him a 9 out of 10. His goals have been very vital this season. I never thought I'd ever see a bloke like him get 30-odd goals, so 9.
Yeah, fair enough. Terry, Charlie White.
I'm going to give him the same as McGeady, 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10. Jacob.
I'm going to say 9. You have to consider the fact without his goals, I don't think we would have been even in the top 6 this season. His work rate off the ball could be a little bit more, but what do you expect? What else more do you expect from a striker, to be honest? So, yeah, 9 out of 10. Did the business.
Terry, you want?
I just must be harsh. I just can't give anybody 10 out of 10 because I'm getting promoted. We haven't even made it to the final of the League One playoffs. So how can we give players 10 out of 10? I just don't get it. But there we go, 8 out of 10 for me.
Well, I give McGeady 10 out of 10 because he had half a season. Imagine what we could have done with a full season. And I didn't give Charlie White a 10 because his overall play is just not that great. When he doesn't score, he goes missing. But to get 30 goals, however, you would even admit you would never expect Charlie White to even get 10 goals this season.
That's why he gets an 8. That's why he gets an 8, because when he doesn't score goals, he goes missing. An 8's a good score. When we would never dream of giving Charlie White 8 out of 10. Yeah. But for a team to disappoint this season, for me, I'm harsh. I'm a harsh taskmaster. Nobody deserves 10.
Well, let's be fair, Terry. Our season we wouldn't even make playoffs, so we got above my expectations.
That's why your scores are high.
Well, there you go then. There you go.
I'm disappointed.
Right, just very quickly, Stephen Clark on the chat says Charlie White is 6. Without McGeady, he's useless. But Charlie White, I'm going to give him a solid 9. I think anybody who gets over 30 goals, I think it's harsh not to, and the only reason I don't give him a 10 is exactly what you say. If he's not on form, he goes missing and what have you. But it's that thing where he can do nothing all game and he can just put that ball in the net. So a 9 for me on Charlie White. What about Aidan O'Brien? Dino?
5, average at best. He's popped up with the odd goal, but he's a lot to be desired, isn't he? Really.
Right. Okay. Terry. For
me, one of the most disappointing players of the season. He came in with this championship hype and just so disappointing, so slow. 4 out of 10.
4 out of 10. Jacob.
I'm going to say 7. I think when he had that strike partnership with Wyke in the second half of the season, I think he played a part in a lot of Wyke's goals. A lot of people, I would say, don't realise that enough. And I still feel he can do a job next season, but I think he'll be a squad player. I think we could do, considering he's got international caps for Ireland and experience at a higher level. So, yeah, 7. But I'll keep Aidan O'Brien. I think he is here next season, though, isn't he?
Aidan O'Brien is still under contract, so he is still here.
Terry didn't like that, though.
Yeah,
buy one, get one free. Will Grigg and Aidan O'Brien, buy one, get one free. Get rid of them both.
I think for me, I think 4 and 5 is a little bit harsh. I'm going to go with a 6. I thought, there was a couple of times he looked like he could, he could do all right. And it's one of them things, Terry. It's like, look at Charlie White. Charlie White's been rubbish for years. And then all of a sudden, look at the season he's had. So,
yeah, exactly. Next season, who knows?
Right. Just very quickly, Will Grigg.
God.
Dino.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
2 with the. He looked good in friendlies. Coming to the league again, he's arsewing. He's just absolutely awful. One of Sunderland's worst ever strikers, in my opinion.
Terry Will Grigg.
I don't think he's had a fair crack at the whip this season. So has he even played a game? He's played one league match all season. One league match. Hasn't he started one league match all season? But for that performance, no, he got. They did the rotation at the start with Phil Parkinson. They rotated it once. Charlie White got back and he stayed in. He played one full league match. It was 2 out of 10.
2 out of 10. Jacob.
1. Attitude stinks. Always has been since he arrived. And he goes to MK Dons and starts banging him in. Ever since he played for us, it feels like he's played like he's been playing with a stitch. To be honest, his heart's never been in it fully. He's never really wanted to play for this club, and he never wanted to leave Wigan in the first place. He was taken out of one treatment room, put in another when we signed him.
Right, fair enough. I'm going to go for a 5 because I still hope and pray that Will Grigg can do. I mean, he's still under contract.
Don't put that bet on again next season,
he's
please.
Still going to be a player. Still going to be a player for us next year. And like I said, look what happened to Charlie White, and who's to say Will Grigg and Rod Stewart up front? Who knows? Right, listen. Before we go any further, Marianne and Carl. All right, I've donated $3. A round of applause for them. Philly, Terry, Dino, Jacob, Conrad, Sexy Bowers, 10 out of 10. That is so kind of you. Thank you very much. The watch over in Boston, Massachusetts. Marianne's not been very well. Good to hear that she's on the mend. And we all of us, the whole team, hope that you get better. Back to full fitness very soon, and we appreciate your loyalty, Marianne and Carl over in Boston, Massachusetts, and Carl's from Henley Hall, I believe. So there you go. That's the link for you. Right, finally, Rod Stewart. Dino, what do you think of Rod Stewart?
Very surprising, and people wrote him off when he first joined. He leads the line very well. He's popped up with the odd goal. I feel like he could be our number 1 striker next season. I think he offers a lot more than White, even when he doesn't score. So for me, he gets a solid 7. I'd like to see more of him next season. I'm actually excited for him next season to see what he's got in a full season.
All right, Terry?
Definitely a very lot of untapped potential there. I echo exactly the sentiments of Dino. I think next season could be a season. Definitely, if he can stay injury-free, got a bit of speed as well, so I was really surprised for a tall bloke. So yes, I'm going to give him out of 10 for what I've seen of him this season so far. 7.
Right, 7 for you, Terry. Jacob?
6. Ineffective a little bit at the start when he was coming off the bench, but I thought he started to improve his all-round game as he was played more. And I think in the first half of that second leg against Lincoln, he was putting himself about, and I think he has the capability to be a really commanding unit up front and bang them in next season. I think he could honestly be as good as White, potentially, if not better. And I know a lot of people may disagree with me on that, but yeah, I still think Ross Stewart has got the capability to be a top draw striker for us. I put faith in him.
And Philly, I do think KLD should do something about this. Whenever Ross Stewart scores a goal next season, play a bit of Rod Stewart after the goal. Come on.
You want a party
and you think I'm sexy, come on, sugar, let me know.
There's a song in there somewhere. A song
Definitely,
that stands about Rod Stewart.
There is. Jacob, you're right. We'll have a chant to a Rod Stewart
There is
song.
someone there
We'll get
somewhere.
that done. We'll get the words up in the wheat sheet and we'll get that sung. Right, letter to, I'll put that down, letter to KLD suggestion. Top suggestion there, Terry. Excellent suggestion. Right, look, we're sort of like, we're over time. We've got 102 likes. We only wanted 100. Thank you very much to you lot for that. Don't forget, of course, if you haven't subscribed yet, it's free to subscribe. Just hit the subscribe button. If you would, that would help us out immensely. Already on our way to sort of like 6,500. We're looking to loads of stuff I wanted to do today, and we haven't got round to. First of all, I want to tell you that during the close season, SAFC Fan TV are going to have a big recruitment drive because we're expanding and we're doing more and more things. We're going to need more members of the team. All right, so just look out for that in the next few weeks. We're going to be putting it out there for certain different roles. We need on the channel. So if you are interested, all right, have a look out for that, and we'll tell you how you can get in touch with us, and we'll go through that process of trying to get you to join our team. I've not even had a chance to touch on England. We are going to be covering
Euros.
The Euros. All
come on,
the
you free lions.
I was going to go sort of through the provisional squad, which has been released so far and stuff like that.
It's coming home. It's coming
Well,
home.
I was just going to ask you quickly, Jacob, is football coming home?
It's coming home. Honestly, we're one of the favourites. We've got the squad to do it. Let's go and get the job done.
I just wanted a yes or no. That was all.
It is coming home. It's coming
home. Terry, is football coming home?
It's coming home, and I'm doing live streams as well.
Oh,
cheeky plugs being thrown in
there. Dino, is football coming home?
Of course it is.
Good stuff. Right. We'll be covering the Euros, certainly all the England stuff, and I do believe I've got to have it confirmed yet, but I'm going to be working at a fan park. I'll give you details of where that is. So we're going to actually vlog that as well. So if you're going to come along and watch
free bevs
on the big screen, then you could be part of it. We'll be interviewing fans for the fan cams, seeing what you thought. So we will have full coverage of the Euros. Make sure you do look out for that. And also our five-a-side, of which Terry, you got a hat trick, didn't you, on Monday? Dino was an absolute sort of world-class keeper. I don't know what he was on, but we couldn't get past him. Terry?
I give Birds 8 out of 10. This bloke here, Dino, got 9 on Monday night. 9. Even saved the goals with his face.
Yeah. Yeah. And is that the one where I got? Oh yeah, I saved one with me bits, didn't I?
Balls.
Yeah.
He was on the
floor. Suck on the line.
Yeah. Oh, honestly, man, it was like nuts, but not that nuts. Yeah. So we are going to actually we're going to start taking the cameras down when we play our five-a-side. We're going to do that, and we've got loads of stuff through the summer to keep you entertained. So
there's nothing more entertaining watching Terry on the ball. Like, honestly, it's so entertaining.
Well, he did. Well, Terry in his new boots, he did get a hat trick, I must admit, on Monday. But we'll take the cameras down, and we will throw it open to you lot to if the 5 of you want to get together off the channel and come and play us. It's not serious. We just have a kick about. But if you want to do that, we'll chuck that in there through the summer as well. It'll be good to meet up with some of the people off the channel. But that just about wraps it up, fellas. From myself, Philly, we'll see you. We won't be here Sunday because it's bank holiday Sunday and somebody's grafting me again. Jacob, do you want to say bye to our lovely viewers?
Bye-bye, guys. And like I said earlier, football's coming home.
And don't forget, keep the faith.
Keep the faith as well.
There you go. Get that on a T-shirt. Terry, do you want to say bye to everybody?
Bye, everybody. Hopefully this time next season we'll be in the Championship. Finally, at the 4th time of asking.
I hope so. I hope you're right. Dino, you can say bye, then you can go back to bed. Because I know
I was going to say, see you later. I'm going back to bed.
All right, cheers. Thanks to you for tuning in. Thanks for everybody who contributed via the super chat. And we'll see you. We'll see you very soon. Just watch out for us. Okay. See you. Bye.